Master of Command was released on October 27th, 2025. It immerses players in the strategic and tactical challenges of 18th century warfare during the Seven Years' War. The game strikes a strong balance between large-scale campaign management and real-time tactical battles. Its procedural campaign maps, detailed logistics systems, and the importance of veteran troops create a tense and rewarding experience where every decision carries weight. The historical setting feels authentic, and the mix of strategic planning and battlefield control makes each encounter meaningful. While the game's depth and complexity might feel demanding for newcomers to the genre, its focused design and commitment to realism will appeal to fans of classic strategy titles. Some rough edges in the interface and pacing may appear, but they do little to overshadow the thoughtful mechanics and immersive atmosphere. Overall, Master of Command is a confident and engaging entry into historical strategy gaming, one that rewards patience and planning over spectacle. Power of the Horde is a real-time strategy game with heavy role-playing game flavor. Released via Early Access on October 23rd, 2025. In the game, you build bases, train units, and command armies in classic real-time strategy fashion. The twist comes from persistent hero gear and loot mechanics, lifting it into RPG territory. Your hero can collect items each skirmish, keep the equipment even after a defeat, and unlock quests and map zones alongside the usual destroy the enemy base goal. Visually and mechanically, it strikes a good balance for fans of indie strategy. The fantasy setting is solid, the loot and heroes angle adds a fresh layer, and the base building and hero progression combo holds promise. On the flip side, since it's still early access, there are rough edges. Some features are missing or underpolished, and the niche mix of RTS and RPG may not suit players looking for a pure, streamlined strategy experience. Overall, Power of the Horde is an intriguing pick for players who enjoy strategy games with extra depth and character progression. If you like the idea of your hero carrying loot into battle and influencing the tide of war, it's definitely worth watching or playing the early access demo. Targeted for release in first quarter of 2026, Eldritch Horror Digital Edition faithfully brings the core of the designer board game, investigations, cults, ancient ones, and globe-spanning threats into a digital medium. In this adaptation, you lead a team of investigators racing to prevent catastrophe, with the digital version handling the messy logistics of cards, tokens, and bookkeeping so you can focus on story and strategy. What stands out is how the digital edition amplifies the experience. Voiceover, ambient music, streamlined flow, and faster turn resolution make the sprawling board game more accessible and less setup-heavy. However, while the announcement is promising, it's worth noting that the game is not yet available and currently has no widely publicized demo version. Because of its coming soon status, actual user experience remains to be seen. If you're already a fan of the original board game, or enjoy cooperative strategy games with a strong narrative flavor and dark, Lovecraftian theme, this digital edition is definitely one to keep on your wish list. Released in early access on 21st May 2025, Bonaparte, a Mechanized Revolution, puts you into an alternate history version of 1789 France, where massive mechanized colossi stomp across battlefields, while political ideologies clash behind the scenes. From the outset, the game stands out for blending turn-based tactical combat, including mechs, regional map strategy, and a robust political layer where laws, faction influence, and ideologies matter just as much as troop movements. The alternate history setting gives it flair. You can defend the monarchy, push moderate reforms, or full-on revolutionary upheaval, while commanding futuristic war machines in historically inspired battlegrounds. On the downside, the game is still in development. Reviewers note that while its ambition is high, some systems feel unbalanced or still rough around the edges. For players primarily after a classic polished grand strategy experience, the mix of mechanics might feel a little heavy. Arknights Endfield's second beta test is set to begin on November 28th, 2025, across PC, iOS, and Android, with console testing for PS5 planned later. This second beta is a limited server wipe test, meaning all progress will reset before the full release. The new build marks a significant step forward from the first beta, with an overhauled story, improved dialogue, and a new explorable region called Wuling that blends futuristic technology with Eastern architectural beauty. Combat feels smoother and more dynamic, featuring reworked abilities, combo skills, and new high-rarity operators that add variety and tactical depth. Cross-platform play and a refined photo mode with filters and camera tools show that developer Hypergriff aims to balance depth with accessibility. Visually, the game impresses with rich environments and fluid animations. The familiar base building and management systems return, complementing the action RPG mechanics rather than overwhelming them. The result is a world that feels alive, cinematic, and rewarding to explore. Although the test build isn't final and player progress will be wiped, this second beta test clearly demonstrates how Arknights Endfield is evolving beyond its tower defense roots into a full-fledged science fiction action adventure. It's an ambitious project that captures the essence of the original Arknights universe while expanding it into a new, more immersive form, one well worth keeping an eye on as it approaches launch. Fractured Utopias, the first major DLC for Frostpunk 2, releases on December 8, 2025. The DLC expands the Utopia Builder mode in ambitious ways, giving each of the 8 factions its own ideological path. Unique trees of unlocks, bespoke buildings and hubs, and more narrative weight via over 100 new events. For players who enjoyed the sandbox aspect of Frostpunk 2, this means there's far more depth to the strategic layer of aligning with a faction, shaping society accordingly, and ultimately choosing what kind of perfect community you want to build. Visually and mechanically, the additions feel solid. The faction hubs and housing variants add flavor, and the promise of endgames tied to each faction lends more replay value and distinguishable experiences. That said, this DLC leans heavily into expansion of systems rather than introducing a completely new scenario or campaign storyline. Players hoping for a narrative adventure or a fresh map with its own campaign may feel the shift is more incremental than revolutionary. Eternal Legend is a turn-based tactical RPG created by solo developer Jonathan Brassard. It tells an ambitious story of political struggle and destiny in a world divided between skyborn and earthborn peoples, featuring handcrafted pixel art, character bonds, and intricate class systems. Players can expect a mix of narrative depth and tactical challenge where each decision on the battlefield shapes the journey ahead. The game's Kickstarter campaign seeks funding to expand its scope, adding more classes, side stories, and Titan boss battles, massive encounters that punctuate the strategic combat. Backers gain early access opportunities and can help influence the project's final design. While still in development with no confirmed release date, Eternal Legend stands out as a heartfelt indie project that balances old-school sensibilities with new ideas. Early reactions to Chaos Zero Nightmare have been largely positive, with many players praising its haunting sci-fi atmosphere and distinct approach to the gacha genre. Reviewers and community discussions describe it as a refreshing blend of roguelike and card-based gameplay, offering a darker, more psychological tone than most mobile RPGs. The game's world design and narrative tension stand out, with comparisons being drawn to titles like Darkest Dungeon for their shared focus on mental strain and survival under pressure. The mental breakdown system, which ties a character's stress to gameplay outcomes, has been singled out as an intriguing twist that deepens the usual gacha experience. Many fans see Chaos Zero Nightmare as a potential breakout hit, thanks to its originality and unsettling aesthetic. However, some concerns remain. Reviewers note that its monetization, balance, and long-term progression are still unknown. A few players also mentioned that the chibi-style character models clash slightly with the otherwise grim tone, though this doesn't overshadow the overall excitement. In general, the tone of early reviews is cautiously optimistic. Chaos Zero Nightmare is being viewed as one of the most promising new gacha titles on the horizon. but players are waiting to see whether its gameplay depth and player-friendly systems will live up to its potential.